giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas
realize what
Cowboys.
time it was.
News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Boston Scientific. We stream it live on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We are 1 day away, ladies and gentlemen. 1 day away. That means it's draft day eve from the 2023 NFL draft. And somehow, some way, I managed to not disclose any mock drafts, but today we will. I only do one of them. I don't really like to do a whole lot of them and throw them at you. But we got 4-rounder. I ain't gonna do all 7. 4-rounder here with there's some movement going on that we'll talk about. We'll grade, we'll judge, we'll throw tomatoes at together. I ain't scared of y'all. What my guy say? Where you at, Bernie? Tell him how I feel.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
I ain't scared of you, man. So I got a mock draft that we'll reveal from each pick one by one. We'll discuss it. Let's do this thing like we're kind of in the war room. Tomorrow we'll definitely be in the war room. Me, Foots, and on day 1 and 2 of the draft. But we'll get into the mock draft room. I already done it, by the way. We're not doing this collectively. It's already done. We're going to reveal the picks and how I got to the picks. And to throw a little something different at it, we'll talk about moves that could be made post-draft. Moves that could be made post-draft. So I try to be a little different in how we do these things. We're at the point where we're at exhaustion when it comes to the NFL draft, when it comes to mock draft. So I try to put a little spin on these things. So hopefully that works out for y'all. Plus, in the roundup, Stephen Jones talks about the deepest positions in this draft, and we're going to hear from an elite player in the NFL that, quick little clip, but I think it was very interesting, and I want to kind of break that down, and I promise y'all it all ties together. But what's good, Bomb Squad? How y'all doing?
Bomb Squad!
Y'all ready, man? Since the league ended, Cowboys, I should say, since the Cowboys season ended back in January, we've all been waiting for this moment. This is where, in my opinion, I talk about this with Vach, the second season begins, or the new season, I should say. The new season begins tomorrow. It starts tomorrow, and we have a whole new wave of thinking with this team. The free agency. Free agency does a little bit, right? It kind of gives you a taste of that new season, but your team is not complete until they do this draft, and then there's still an avalanche of things that are to happen after the draft. So let's talk about all of that today, Cowboys Nation. You can call in if you want, 351-999-3787. Didn't get a chance to get everyone yesterday. Not on a super time constraint today. I do got to be somewhere later, but we're probably gonna be a little bit of a longer show. If you guys want to call in, we already got one on the horn, so just stay tight. I'll get to you after the roundup. What's good, Lee? Yeah, let's do it. So B in the chat said he released their official 3-round mock. Well, look, come on in, B. Let me know about your 3-round mock. And here's what we'll probably do later if I got time. I already got some of them pulled up. Some of y'all email me your mock. Some of y'all hit my Twitter. We'll take a look at some of those too to have some fun with it. What's good, bro? In the building. So yeah, man, let's have some fun today.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Hey, yo. Is me and Stephen Jones, we starting to see eye to eye here. I don't know what's going on with me and Steven. Hey, Lee, it's your birthday this weekend. Come on down to Dallas, bro. Happy birthday, fam. I'm about to reach out to you. I hit up Sean the other day, but that's off air stuff anyway. Me and Steven Jones. This is weird. This is a weird feeling. He's saying a lot of things this offseason, and they're doing a lot of things this offseason that I like. He was on 105.3 The Fan again. And I don't know, man. This is weird. This is the third time I believe he was on the radio in the last week. I mean, that's a lot. Usually they do once and that's a wrap. He's been on the radio a good number of times, and he said this about what positions have the strongest depth in the draft. Quote, in general, believe it or not, which happens to work good for us, I'd say probably tight ends. Through about 5 to 6 rounds, if not the full draft. And then probably behind that would be, and usually is, running backs. There's usually always a good group of running backs to choose from. The same holds for receivers, depending on what's your flavor of what you might be looking for in particular for that year. There's always a lot of receivers as well. End quote. It's like the second time, man. Steven Jones went on the radio and he talked about the depth of the tight end position. Is this sleight of hand? Is this misdirection? Or is this just flat out true? Because I don't think he's wrong. Like, Steven didn't say anything wrong right there. He was 100% correct in my opinion. Maybe 95 if you believe running back is deeper. We just did a top 5 deepest positions yesterday with Foots, and tight end came at 2 for him. Some it'll come at 1. Bottom line, it is extremely deep in this draft, and that's why it's a controversial topic when talking about selecting one. However, you got a lot of context. You talk about how the Cowboys like to just take the best guy on their board, and what if it happens to be a tight end? Here's the thing. I have a hard time believing that the Cowboys are down on their guys. And I'm talking about Peyton and I'm talking about Jake. And I'm not saying those guys stop you from taking one. But what I'm saying is, if they were so down on those dudes, why wouldn't they just bring back Dalton Schultz? I mean, Dalton Schultz didn't cost a lot. He signed for a 1-year deal, $6 million guaranteed in Houston. It's pennies compared to what he was getting paid last year. Doesn't even sniff the franchise tag. So I don't think they're down on the room. And I don't think Steven is lying when he talks about before it was 4 rounds. Now it's 5 to 6 and potentially the entire draft where there's depth at. I think Steven really, they really would prefer taking a tight end after day 1. But this is a team that is very, very strict about their draft board. But Travis Kelce joined NFL Live the other day, and he said something that stuck out to me about the tight end position and about who he was coming into this league. I want y'all to take a listen to Travis Kelce real quick.
It's all about adapting to the opportunity at hand. You know, I was a completely different player in college than I am now, and it's because I had to kind of grow in this offense. So it's exciting to see, you know, where guys land and the opportunities they get for sure.
One more time, Travis. One more time for those in the back.
It's all about adapting to the opportunity at hand. You know, I was a completely different player in college than I am now, and it's because I had to kind of grow in this offense. So it's exciting to see, you know, where guys land and the opportunities they get for sure.
And this is a lot of people are saying the same things about tight end. But let's talk about what he said there. He said he was a completely different player now than he was in college. I don't think he's just saying that to say that. Then he talked about growing in this offense and adapting to the opportunities. The tight end position is so damn dependent on offense and those opportunities, which is why I think it's so difficult to predict how these guys will translate and how high and how far and where that ceiling is coming into the next level, which is why you see a lot of tight ends going after day 1, and those who go in day 1 tends to be a really huge miss rate, right? I hate to use the word bust rate, but miss rate in that first contract at the very least. That's not to say this happens all the time. That's not to say a guy like Mayer can't come in here and be a productive dude, or Kincaid, or I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is that position is so dependent on what you want to do on your offense, who's throwing the ball, the opportunities you get. And that's what makes me say, I think if you give those opportunities to a guy you got on the roster, I think he take advantage of them because he did last year. Granted, they were minimal. But I think he'd take advantage of it. I'm talking about Jake. Yes, I am. I also believe in the same breath, if you wait to take a tight end later, they can kind of develop and grow into that offense as opposed to being forced to be the offense or forced to be a top of the food chain in said offense. This is a future Hall of Famer who talked about growing in the offense, who talked about being a completely different player than he was in college. So he had to adapt his game. He had to, learn to be who he is now. A lot of the times as draft people, we tend to look at guys and this is who they are, right? We have to remember, though, that development is real. Opportunity is real. Where they go is real as well. That's what makes this thing not a exact science. It's difficult. Now, Dallas, in the first round, it feels like it's an exact science. They're hitting at a 90% rate over the last decade. So, whoever they pick, give them the benefit of the doubt. But I thought it was very interesting to hear Kelsey talk about that because a lot of fans are set in stone on these prospects coming out of the draft one way or another, right? But he talks about, I'm not even that guy that I was. I had to grow within this offense. And I love to hear that from a future Hall of Famer because I think you can get a guy later in these drafts, mid-rounds, whatever, that can grow into this offense. That doesn't have to be forced to be a part of this offense right now if you take a guy in the first round. But we'll talk more about that moving forward. I just wanted to throw that out there, Maybe I'm being a bit messy here because y'all know how I feel about the position. But I'll reserve judgment until what happens at pick 26. Let's get into the chat. DP just dropped one, not a super chat, but a comment that said tight end is a waste at 26 because of the history. Says 2025 before you see what you have and we should be in win now mode. Let's improve somewhere instead of replacing a former starter. O-line is way to me. I'm definitely O-line guy for sure. However, again, goddamn Steven Jummer.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Steven said something the other day that it made me say, you know what, Steven, you're right. Y'all do this. And he talked about how in round one, they try to be very true to their board, which leans towards taking the best player available. So it may not be offensive line. It could be a different position. And I try to stick to that in the mock draft that you guys are going to see. I tried to stick to, I want to take the best player in round one on the board for me. Obviously with the future outlook as well, right? It can't just be, well, are they going to come in, be all pro right now? Are they going to come in and get 85 targets? Are they going to come in and get, 90% of the snaps? There's a bit of a future outlook you have to take as well. But I wanted to stick to that. And then after that, I try to hit the needs where it made sense. So, stick around for the mock draft here in a quick second. I want to get to the phone line and I want to take on this super chat by Cole Cowboy. Shout out to Cole Cowboy. He's very active on Twitter. And guys like Cole, the other Will, Tuck, Rome, listen, bro, I give y'all kudos. How y'all deal with these Eagle fans on a daily basis? Salute. I'm done. I'm retired from it. I grew up in that area dealing with it physically. I ain't got time to deal with this on the damn Twitter sphere. They don't stop. They don't give a damn what you say. So shout out to you, man.
Super chat.
Cole Drop 5 said, we are not a tight end away from winning the bowl. Facts. So no need of going tight end at 26. Just me, though. I mean, that's true. That is true, right? But are you any player away at 26 from winning the bowl? That's something that Cole and Cowboys Nation, the more I started to, cover the team and cover the league in general, I had to remove that thought process from my fandom because I'm a diehard fan first, right? And I always believe, man, if we get X amount of player in the draft, we going to the bowl. in reality, you're not one player away from the draft, from winning the bowl. But you damn sure ain't a tight end away. So I can tell you that one. You know, you got the tight ends to get it done, man, at 26. So I'm with you on that one. All right, let's get to 6, 7, 8 real quick, and then we're going to get to the mock draft. But I believe 6, 7, 8 was on hold since yesterday. What's good?
I say, you remember?
Yeah, I saw the number yesterday when I had to leave, and I was like, damn, I couldn't get to it all. But I remember you.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Skywalking on this haters.
Hey,
what's good, though, man?
What's up with you, man? What's up?
All right. Yeah, it's just because, man, you and Foots, like, mainly really Foots was making my point, man. It's just that I'm all about this also, too, as well, getting Jahmyr Gibbs. It's just because, man, simple fact that, bro, that it's just, man, man, that 2016 season, man, when Zeke was there, when in his prime, his rookie year, and then really Zeke was really that team, man. If you just go ahead and plug in that with Jahmyr Gibbs and Tony Pollard, man, like, man, we both going to be so much effective on passing game and the running game. And I just feel like that's the reason why we got the running game coordinator,
Mike Solari
/ running back coach. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm really, man, I'm hoping that they really do that. But I don't want to get my hopes up.
So when I hear this often, I like to critically think, because what you're saying about the rookie year of Dak and Zeke, clearly, obviously, that running game helped the rookie quarterback at the time. Or was it the offensive line? You see?
Exactly. And
so
that's about it too as well.
So, is it, hey, I'll take Jahmyr Gibbs, or do I build the offensive line and I can put some quality running backs behind him? I think that's always a chicken and egg conversation that you have when you talk about, running back. But Gibbs is a fantastic talent, man.
But we already have still have a solid O-line right now. Just not as in 2016. I do agree.
It ain't nothing like that.
But, yeah, exactly. But we still have a solid O-line, though. It's like, man,
you can go
imagine,
play.
Like,
you can go play right now, but man, they need to come out this draft with a plug-and-play guy, bro. Like, they need to.
Oh, talking about guard? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, guard and tackle? Oh, yes. After getting Jahmyr Gibbs, yes, most definitely. Get that guard and tackle, and I don't care what you're going to get. You can go draft a quarterback in the 4th round. I don't give a damn. Just as long as you get those two main guys first.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, too, as well, and I'm just saying, and one more thing, too, as well, and I disagree on Vach with just DPA, overall, like taking Will Donald and everything. I believe, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pass up on Will and get Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm sorry, because I feel like we got enough edge rushers. I feel like our defense is stacked. Dan Quinn, I trust, and Dorrance, Micah, Tank, everybody. I feel like we have enough. We just need to get that guy in the middle. That's just what I'm saying. But go ahead, sir.
I will say this: the draft is not over after round 1. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So just stay tuned and watch the mock draft. I got something for you.
I will. I'm going to just observe.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, big
dog.
All
right, thanks, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
It's not over, y'all. It is not over after round 1, man. So we got to be mindful of that. That's all. We got to be mindful of that. So let's jump into said mock draft. Just love to hear that sound. So how we're going to do this mock draft, again, I just did 4 rounds. Y'all know how I do. I don't really like to go all the way to 7 because it just gets wonky after you get past about pick 100 and something. So I stuck to 4-rounder. And there is some movement in the draft. I tried to be as realistic as possible. I didn't want to, we traded up to 10, or we traded all the way out to the 2nd round and picked up 3 first-round picks over the next. Like, I didn't try to do that. I tried to be as realistic as possible as I could possibly be. That's how I try to do these things in general. And I will show the first-round picks. I will show all the first-round picks here in a quick second. But obviously, we get to about the middle of the draft and we get a call. Okay. The Chiefs come a calling and they want to come up 5 spots. They want to get their wide receiver and they want to send us some picks. So this to me, based off of what I saw on the board, Cowboys Nation. Oh, I was loving this. If I'm in the war room, I'm actually trying to be calm because I actually want to move down in this spot. And here's why. This draft from pick, we talk about this a lot on Vacha's show, from pick 26 to about 60 something or whatever, there's this cluster of dudes that if you were to take at 26, at 29, at 30, at 35, you'd be like, okay, all right, I can make sense of this. And it's a very small, I think, top heavy draft. So I'm not trying to trade up. I'm actually trying to trade down, accumulate more picks in that top 60, 65, right? And grab a couple of those dudes who I would have no problem with taking. So when Kansas City came calling, I decided to pick up the phone. I decided to work out a trade. And that's exactly what I did, Cowboys Nation. I made a trade. I traded back 5 spots. Try to be realistic, right? Gave up pick 26 and my 3rd round pick. Scott, you can't give up a 3rd rounder. Relax. I actually came up 27 spots. 27 spots into the 2nd round. So now I have a 1st rounder and 2 2nd rounders where those picks are about 6 picks or so apart. I can't remember. I think it's like 6 picks, 5 picks apart. So before we get to the actual pick, how do you feel about this trade? Now, I know you guys are going to say, well, who did I trade away from? I got you in a second. I want to reveal the first pick first, and then we'll talk about who we traded away and if you guys did not like that. But overall, just from a pure trade standpoint, now Professor Rose in the chat, he can give me the numbers, but I feel like this is a quality trade right here. I stay in the 1st round. I keep my 5th year option. I keep my option of grabbing one of these, 1st round guys or what have you. I only came down 5 picks, but I came up 27 in the 2nd round. So I'm going to have 2 2nd round picks. I would 100% love this. And honestly, there's probably not a guy on the board that I would be afraid to go down 5 picks for. Probably not, unless a Bijan Robinson is there. And for purposes here, he's not. Bijan Robinson is not available. All right. T-Dub, not mad at it. Is McDonald making it to 31? That is a risk, right? You're going to risk one of those dudes not being there. But I can live with that. Like, I think I can live with that and picking up a second round pick and adding one of those clusters of guys. Los doesn't like it. He wants to stay put. You don't even know it was there yet. I think from a value standpoint, it is a good trade. But who you trading away from? Maybe Los don't like who you trading away from. Another Los, not the Los. Let's see here. Is that early for Jay? You mean Zay? Tino likes it. Swain likes it. If Bijan isn't there, I like it. Bijan is not there. All right. So with the first pick for the Cowboys in the 2023 NFL Skywalker mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys select, and you're not going to like this one, caller, edge rusher Will McDonald. I just couldn't pass up this opportunity, man. I just couldn't do it. He's too good of a pass rusher with great traits to pass up here, man. Yeah, he's been talked about ad nauseum over the last few weeks. We talked about it yesterday with the Voch Lombardi interview. Go check that out. Yes, he's not the run stopper guy. Yeah, he's not Bijan Robinson, but I just can't get past the immense talent he has as a pass rusher. What I do like and what made me favor this pick even more was that he talked about when he spoke with Dan Quinn, that Dan Quinn was going to utilize him in a similar fashion as Micah, meaning moving him all over the field. So if he's going to be a chess piece guy, get matched up against, as Voch would say, find the scrub, I love that. He's a guy you're not going to have to count on to be your pass rush. He's going to fit here and make your pass rush better as a rotational guy. Last year, the Cowboys pass rush kind of fell off in the second half. Now you could say, well, some of that had to do with the coverage, and maybe that's true. but we just weren't finishing a lot. So I would never, in a passing league, ever be upset adding more top tier talent in a passing league, not pass rushing league, in a passing league to this team. So a guy that can be used as a chess piece. He's accustomed to banging around on the interior. I think he's going to stand up a lot in this defense. I do. I think Dan would have him moving around as a stand-up guy and occasionally putting his hand in the dirt. But then you start thinking about the future. You start thinking about, Sam Williams, what if he takes over for DeMarcus Lawrence? You got Will McDonald. You got Micah Parsons. That is a dynamic trio of rushers to deal with over the next 3, 4, 5 years. Absolutely dynamic. And this dude's ceiling is extremely high. So I think he has a good floor and a really, really high ceiling. So Will McDonald, my first pick in round 1. Now, before I talk to y'all, let's go ahead and reveal what happened in round 1. If you can't see, I try to help you out here. So this is kind of unrealistic with Bijan. I don't think Bijan's going to the Steelers, but Bijan is off the board here. All of our tackles are off the board here, except Anton Harrison. But yes, I elected to pass on Anton Harrison at 26 to trade down. Zay Flowers is who Kansas City came up for. I can see that being realistic, right? They the jitterbug, explosive wide receiver in that Andy Reid offense with that quarterback. Oh yeah, that'll be fun. And I feel like they wanted to get their guy and didn't want to wait, so that felt realistic. You did pass on Osiris Torrance, Emmanuel Forbes, a cornerback, Deontay Banks, a cornerback, and Anton Harrison in round 1. Okay. And obviously, if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking here, Drew Sanders is also off the board as well. Or not off the board, is still on the board. So Michael Mayer, one ahead of you at 25. Thankfully. Dalton Kincaid went at 19. This is what you were left with at 26. Zay, Osiris, Emmanuel, Deontay Banks, Anton Harrison, Will McDonald, Drew Sanders, and a couple other guys. If you want to go a Via here, you could have won a Via. But I didn't. I want Will McDonald here. So now that you see the layout of the first round, now that you see all the trade, how the trade happened, how would you feel coming away from trading down to 31, picking up an extra second, and coming away with Will McDonald? How would you feel? Not necessarily a grade. We'll do the grade at the end. How would you feel? Would you be frustrated? Would you be excited? Would you be happy? Would you be kind of on a wait and see approach? I love Will McDonald, so I'd be really happy. Let's see here. Let me move this out the way. Get back to the chat. Give me Zay. So Don would have stayed and took Zay. Fair. Aaron said he'd be on that Boston Scientific. Brian feel like a champ. Why hasn't Will moved up the board similar to Nolan? I think he has. Actually, I mean, Will I think started around where Nolan started in that, second day 2 type of situation. And then Nolan, whatever reason, he started lower than that according to some people, and then he shot up into the first. I don't know that Will was ever going to shoot up into the Nolan Smith. Nolan went to Georgia. Nolan's tape. I think he's a better athlete. And that's not saying that Will McDonald is not Will McDonald's a fantastic athlete. I mean, he's flexible, jumping over cars for crying out loud. He has ridiculous arm length, good speed. I think getting Dan Quinn with him, I think his technique will continue to improve. Top 5 rusher, I think, in this draft. So Jay says, so will Sam replace Tank? That's how I'll look at it. I think that Sam Williams can be a guy that replaces DeMarcus Lawrence in the future. I hate seeing Micah get schemed for on the edge. I don't see McDonald as Tank replacement. No, I don't either. He's too small to be a Tank replacement. I believe Sam Williams is more of a guy to be a Tank replacement because he can hold up against the run better and also give you bursts off the edge. And if you put 10 pounds on Sam, I don't think you're losing athleticism. I think you're gaining strength. And he already sitting at what? 260 roughly. Is Sam about 260, 255-ish? Oh, and Gibbs. Gibbs is on the board. I just saw the Gibbs name. Gibbs is on the board too. So I passed on Gibbs, passed on Zay, traded down, picked up another pick, and took Will McDonald. DP. I know we on the same page here with offensive linemen, right? And you probably frustrated not taking one in round one, but hold tight. How you feel about a Will McDonald round one?
You know what? I like Will McDonald, Sky. I do think that, like you said, he's a little light, so he will need to put a little bit of weight on to hold up on the edge. But like Sam Williams, he played a lot of 4-eye, a lot of inside tackle positions, and I think that that's going to bode well for him in terms of him being able to hand fight on the line of scrimmage, setting edges and whatnot. He has enough experience in that. I do like him very much to Sam in terms of their college experience and their development. Again, he's not as big nor as fast as Sam. Sam's a freak though, so that's not really a knock on him. Sam is about 265 when he got drafted, running 4.46, so you're not going to find that too often.
No, sir.
So I like the pick. I do, even though I definitely am a guy who believes in going O-line this year for the first round. I do like the pick. I definitely think that we've done a good enough job stocking the O-line room that I think we'll be fine going O-line in the second round if you choose to do that. That would work. That would work for us. What I did want to call in and bring up in terms of talking about the O-line, I think a lot of us have become very overly comfortable just saying that, our O-line's good. Well, if we really stop and look at it, our O-line is aging out. Tyron got basically a swing tackles contract this year because it's been 7 seasons since he played a full season.
Yeah, I think the word good for the O-line might be on the borderline, right? Like, I think it's a competent one. I think you can go play. I think you can live within it, but I don't think you can control the game with it. And I think they want to control the game.
And here's the biggest point that I've been trying to make to folks ever since last season ended. Yes, once again, we did finish ranked at the top in offense, but the offensive line was ranked 28th in pass protection and did get Dak hurt and gives him the misfire again. So I think it's kind of obvious that should be, at least top 3 priority to get fixed.
100%. Again, if they do not come out of this draft with a plug and play guy in the top 3 rounds, I hope like hell that 4th round pick is a plug and play. And if it ain't the 4th, I hope like hell the 5th round is a plug and play. But you need a plug and play for depth purposes. Like, where's the depth at, DP?
Well, you know what? I think that we do have some depth on the O-line.
Where? I'm asking genuinely. Where is the depth?
The top tier guys are aging out. We don't really have the convenience of waiting on guys to develop, and I think the team is kind of just realizing and getting to that point. That's why you've seen us sign the backups that we did sign just to have depth.
Where's
there.
The depth?
The depth, I mean, those guys that we signed, you got they brought in that dude because nobody believes in him as a starter. He's literally just depth.
But he's a starter.
I mean,
that's my point. Edosia at this moment right now would technically be your starter. You have no depth on guard. There's no depth. There's 0 depth at guard. Is there depth at center? No. There's no depth at center. Right now.
Yeah, it is.
Who?
Yeah, it is. Stop that. Forney, play guard and center for.
Man, look, nobody. The 40 I can't know that, bro.
Hold on, you asked the question. Let me answer you, bro.
Go ahead, man. Answer away. Why is Forniak that?
He's depth because he's not about to start for you, but he's the guy that you got in the contract.
I think you're misunderstanding my question here. There's actual bodies for depth, but where's the quality of depth? Let me say that. Find me the quality of depth on this team right now as we speak.
I would say this, Phil. If you don't view Forniak that way, I would say that he's one of the young guys that I would view as a depth piece. I would also say that Avante Collins is a solid backup tackle that we just for whatever reason, decided not to play last year. But he's definitely better than Ball and Walesko, who are the guys Stephen Jones keeps bringing up. I think Walesko might have a chance to develop. I'm kind of done with Josh Ball personally.
So y'all hear what he said. Avante Collins, Matt Forniak, and Chimo Idoja is the quality depth on this team. That's all you need to know.
No, I didn't say those are quality. I said Forniak. I said Walesko's a chance. I said Forniak and Collins would be the guys you look for quality depth.
Who? Collins and Forniak?
What's that?
Collins and Forniak is the quality depth on this team?
Those would be the two guys that I could point to as saying feeling comfortable with us continuing to develop and having to, if I have to play them, I'd be okay with it. That's what I'm saying at this point right now.
And Cowboys Nation,
but what I'm saying that does need to be upgraded.
If that is their view or your view of the quality depth on this team, that is exactly why offensive line is an extreme major need. There's no way in hell. No way in hell. No way in hell.
You're helping me make my point.
We're agreed that we need offensive line help. But I disagree that we have any quality depth on this team unless you're counting Tyron Smith as the swing tackle when Terrence Steele gets back. Other than that, you've got a bunch of question marks. You know nothing about Collins as quality depth. Matt Forniak did not look good when he played last year when he came in there. Matt Waletzko, hell, we just hope like hell he can make the team. He's got some potential, but we don't know about Matt Waletzko. Josh Ball's a bad. He's just not good. Josh Ball is not a good player. Chimo Idoja is currently, as we speak right now, a starter. This team is lacking depth across the bar.
And I'm not really trying to argue that. I've been trying to turn the corner to get back to the point that you was making shortly before I came on the line.
What's that?
With Sam Williams. We re-signed Tack McKinley, and I keep looking at the amount of depth that we have at the defensive end position. And I know you said Sam looks like he could be a guy who could step in and take over for Tank.
Yep.
But again, as I keep looking over the defensive end position, while you taking Will McDonald would definitely be exciting in the first round because of his talent, the room is really, really stacked and really, really full. But I can't for the life of me figure how we can actually take that room into the season, bro. I really think that either Tank or DA is probably going to be getting shocked here in the next week or
so. Well, possible. I mean, I don't think Tank would, given he just, did his contract over. It cost a lot of money for another team. But DA is definitely a possibility. This is why I said at the beginning of this, and I did it purposefully. When you're looking at the pick 26, right, you got to think about not only best player available, but also future outlook. Look, the room is stacked now. The room in 2023 is, and I love that it's stacked. The more pass rushers, the better. But after that, DA's, you talk about Tack might not even make the team, and he's only on a 1-year deal. DA's on a 1-year deal. Dorrance Armstrong's on Dante Fowler's on a 1-year deal. And DeMarcus Lawrence could be, at any given moment, they could be like, hey, thanks for your services. So it's really not a lot of future at the position. So McDonald. McDonald can give you some more juice now and also continue to keep that juice as you move forward for the next 5 years if you exercise that fifth-year option.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But the other point I wanted to bring up is I keep looking at their hesitance to bring in another big body for the defensive line. And everybody keeps on talking about, Osa had a great year, and don't forget about Chauncey. I can't help stop thinking that Dan Quinn might be really thinking about going ahead and making a switch to a 3-4.
I don't have any. I don't have anything on that. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I think he's a multiple guy now.
If you just think about it schematically, we got one big dude that we can plug in the middle and one other dude that can play behind him. You know what I mean? We got 2-3 techs who both can play edge. Now, we got a bunch of defensive ends that in pass rushes that run 4 or 5 or better, including a couple linebackers who can also blitz and rush off the edge. It seems like a natural fit.
So are you saying that you're predicting he will, or you think he should, or what are you saying?
I think we definitely have the personnel to do it. I feel like I
yeah.
think it would be a good move for the team.
If you noticed last year, if you watched and paid attention, they do multiple stuff, like 3-4 stuff though.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't
like the 5-man front. The 5-man front is a front that I played in high school. It's a 52 stack. It's the old Kansas City Chiefs defense that they used back in the 60s and 70s when they was winning Super Bowls back then.
They also do some 3-4 things as well. So
it's a precursor for the 3-4.
I don't think they're going to go full time.
If you run the precursor for 2 years, why not actually give it a try? It's just my thought. I think it fits the team.
Yeah, well, so you're saying they should move to a 3-4. I mean, they could, but I think Dan is living in this multiple defense. I think it's working out pretty well for him.
I think it is, but at the same time, it's also taking its toll. Like both of our two quote unquote strong safeties have had all pro caliber years the last 2 years, but both of them have been hurt.
I mean, brother,
the last 2 years.
That's gonna happen, man.
You know what I'm talking about Dono and Kurtz. You know what I mean? And we're also giving up a lot of our runs to the edges is running at them because we got 200-pound guys playing linebacker. Basically,
they running at your boy Trey.
That would
they running at Trey,
that might be a way to deal with that. You know, put some bigger bodies out there who are still just as athletic, can still move around. Might be a way to deal with it.
Might be. All right, man. Appreciate the call, DP.
All right, Sky. You be good, bro.
You as well. Joe Sandberg, I didn't mean to keep you on hold too long, brother. I saw you there. What's up, Joe?
Doing pretty good, Sky. And the thing I saw with what you did there with trading down, I love it. Because, like, if you want to, you're going to take Drew Sanders there if you wanted to. You get more draft capital if you want to go up early in the second round to get an offensive lineman. You can do it.
Yeah.
And with Glenn Donald, you could actually play Micah a little bit more at linebacker.
Yeah, you're right about that too. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they would do some linebackery things with Will. Not necessarily middle linebacker, but 3-4 outside linebacker type stuff.
Right. So at least with Micah, because that's the thing to me right now. If you had to play, you have at least one question about one of your linebacker spots, at least.
And that could be, and once you see how this draft rounds out, that could be the case, unless they do something that I would want them to do post this particular mock draft. So hold tight to that. All right, appreciate you, Joe.
Next thing I could call, Sky.
Of course, man. All right, let's get to my second round pick. No movement here. I didn't decide to do any movement here. I decided to stay put. I didn't want to go down. Didn't feel the need to go up either because of who was still sitting on the board. And y'all know what I've been saying for the last couple months. I need to come out this draft with offensive lineup. I'm trying to get a guy that can plug and play right now. I don't care if it's a tackle, you move to guard. If it's a guard that you keep at guard. If it's a left guard, you move to left, right guard, left, whatever. Give me a guy that can plug and play. And I think I was able to do that with our second round pick here in Matthew Bergeron, who was sitting on the board for me at pick 58, PFF's 65th rated player in the draft. They often talk about position flex. This is a guy who primarily played left tackle for Syracuse. Here's what I got on Matthew Bergeron. I said I passed on round 1 with the thought of getting my guy in round 2. Now, we had a scary scenario a couple weeks ago with Dane Brugler's draft. Dane Brugler's draft wiped us out. There was no Matthew Bergeron. I think the next best guy you get in the later round was like Zavala. But Bergeron was here. He was on this board. And he's a guy that I have no problem with moving into guard. In fact, he played some guard at Senior Bowl. But I had to, before I evaluated him as a Senior Bowl guard, I was kind of looking at most of his stuff as a left tackle. I think he has working hands, but he could probably find some more consistency at using the length he does have. He doesn't have extreme length, but probably got to get better a little bit with his stab. But I think he's always working. I'll give him that. He's always working with his hands. I do like his movement. I like that he's sound in his sets. He's never really seeming to panic in his sets, even though the deeper he gets in those sets, the more vulnerable he is in pass protection. Like he's the opposite of the Anton Harrison. Like where Anton Harrison, I think, is a supreme pass protector right now that could work on the run game. I think Bergeron is a supreme run blocker that has some pass rush ceiling he has to get to. But I think he has the nuances and the technique to be that if you want him to be tackled. But I don't. I want to move him inside. And I think inside, you don't have to worry about him setting deep and getting taken advantage of in that manner. Inside, he can get on the guy right away, and he's got the strength and the movement and the ability to move a guy out the way. And he kind of reminds me at the tackle position of how Terrence and Zach Martin, when they do these duo blocks, boy, Bergeron is looking to take somebody's head off. He's looking to take somebody's head off. He's a very smart player, and I kind of gauge that from how he handles the stunts. He sees it real quickly. He picks it up real quickly, and he's usually good at being that help guy, via the run game or the pass game. So I think he's outstanding as a help guy. We talk about that a lot on Vach's show. Now, I don't think any of his major issues, similar to the Tyler Smith pick last year, would be major issues at guard. So I would slide him in the guard. He technically has the flex to play tackle. If you want him to play tackle, I'm not taking him to play tackle. And now I got two young studs on that left side for the foreseeable future. And he's a plug and play. This isn't a guy I got to hope that he translates into. I think he translates well. I think he'll play right now. The best offensive lineman on that team, obviously. And I think one of the top offensive linemen in the second round on the board. Matthew Bergeron is the pick. So I traded down 5, picked up an extra second, came away with best player on the board for me, Will McDonald, but I still got my guard in the second round. Boom. If I didn't get a Bergeron, if I didn't get a plug and play guard here, it could have got a little tricky for me in the third round. So that's where I'm at with it. Cody Mount says B. I like Bergeron better than Mount. Danny says he likes it. Let's get Scott Perry Mingo in the third. Hold tight. Frankie says a C so far. Doesn't like Matthew Bergeron or the Will McDonald pick. Jay says similar size as Steele. Yeah, Steele was like 6'6", something like that. Frankie said I turned. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Bergeron, Frankie? You need goons at guard. There you go. There's your goon. What is Frankie Ganner talking about? We didn't pick a Connor Williams. You think this is Connor Williams? Oh boy. Like him in a second, says Brian. Solid tackle with guard flex. But I would do it the opposite way, Brian. I would guard him and then have the tackle flex. So there we have it. Those are the first 2 picks right now. You got your kind of best player. No tight ends. I don't want to tight end this early. And then you got your guard. So everybody looking for that plug and play guard in round 1, I was able to pick up a pick and still get my plug and play guard in round 2. Good morning, Danny.
Sky, it's like Christmas Eve for all this draft.
Man, I already know it's Christmas Eve for you, man.
No jokes. Since I was a kid, I can never sleep the night before the draft. That's how excited I get. I'm kind of burnt out at this point. I'm done doing mocks. I'm done watching film. I already started looking for spring games for next year.
That's right. You told me about the day 3 tight end from I don't know who. That's right. I forgot you were
day 3 tight end from Rutgers.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go a little bit off the record. I'm gonna give you a day 1 guy.
Oh no, Danny, you don't gotta give me a guy for next year. I was just teasing you, bro. Yeah, we'll talk about that another day, man.
Listen, the first pick, McDonald, was the kid from Georgia on the board, Smith.
Oh no,
Nolan Smith.
No. Let me see where Nolan Smith went. I believe he was gone. I'm gonna pull this up. He was gone, but go ahead, continue.
Here's my thing with him, where I can see him fit it in with Dallas.
He went number 11.
Don't laugh me off the. Wow. Do you think that's small of a defensive end? Do you think we'll go at 11? Nolan Smith.
Nolan?
Yeah,
I think Nolan's one of the top edges in the draft. I have no problem wherever he goes in this draft. He's not going to go top 5, right? But I don't view this draft as an extremely top-heavy draft. I don't. I think after the top 7 or so prospects, anybody in your top 15, 20 can be taken after that. So I'm not that doesn't send shock waves through me. No.
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of head scratching tomorrow night. There's just going to be a lot of people are going to be like, what? Because you're going to see picks that no one has in the first round that teams are going to pick, and you're going to be a lot of head scratching. There's also rumors that corners might fall. Diggs looking to hold out. Broadus keeps on mentioning corners for some strange reason.
I mean, keeps
on mentioning corners.
Corners in the same exact boat to me as edge, where you've got enough you got enough right now. You can go up there, line up right now at edge, at pass rusher, in that corner, and you're good to go. But once you start diving deeper into the room, you don't have too much of a future, at that position. So I don't think corner is out the equation in the top 3 rounds either, bro.
Listen, I agree with you. As the one caller earlier said, and we both have been saying earlier, I mean, of the whole time, we need O-line. Dak was sacked 17 times in 12 games. So I'm pretty bad at math, but if you average that over to 17 games, it's got to be close to 30. He's getting older. We're going to invest more money in him. We're gonna draft fresh legs. So I can't see investing.
I thought Dak and Cooper Rush were one of them kind of at a solid sack rate this year, if I'm not mistaken. I thought they didn't get sacked that much this year.
Well, he got sacked in 12 games. He got sacked 17 times, and now that's not even counting all the hits he took.
Well,
and he's not getting any younger.
Yeah. I mean, look, so, I don't disagree with the offensive line situation, but I could have sworn that Dak and Cooper Rush were kind of one of the more evading type of sack guys in the league. I thought so, but I could be wrong here. I know they had a terrible pass rush.
He has that fast get out.
Well, I believe Dak was top 10 in getting rid of the ball this year. I could be wrong here. I have to go look at the stats, but I could have sworn I saw some statistic that showed that the Cowboys ranked pretty decently in regards to total sacks and sack percentage. But and I think that's a testament to Dak Prescott. Honestly, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So, listen, I'm just afraid of getting washed at 58 with the linemen. I'm just, and a lot of mocks I just see us getting washed. That's my one fear where me personally, I would just go best offensive lineman available at 26. Because 58 we get washed, it's going to be a long 3 days. And then we're going to draft our 6th, 7th round guy, and I'll say, the guy's a good player. He's good now.
What's washed?
But Jerry's going to talk about him. Jerry's going to talk about him like he's the next Larry Allen.
What's washed?
The guy we picked in the 6th round.
What's washed, John?
I agree with you 100%. We have 0 depth. Here's my thing with Nolan Smith with Dallas. Don't laugh me off the board,
Danny.
Before I hang up, before I land the plane.
Well, I'm asking.
If someone said to you before the draft,
Danny,
we're going to switch Micah to edge,
Danny,
you'd get laughed at.
That's not. I don't care about that right now. What is washed to you at pick 58? Because why not just do at pick 58 what you were going to do in the first round, right? Basically, you're saying reach for the best guard in round 1. Why not just reach for the best guard in round 2?
Because I think if the board gets washed like everyone's predicting we're going to get that 2nd round guy we're going to reach for. And granted, when you draft at the end of the round, you pretty much always have to draft a round earlier. Okay. I just feel
I agree.
We'd be taking like a round 4 guy possibly in round 2 because we're already drafting earlier. So we're probably taking a guy who we have a 3rd round grade, but we got to take him in the 2nd, and now we get washed. Listen, and we've had this conversation. I just get pissed because everyone knows Dallas's hands before draft day started. Everyone circles a big left side of the line. And listen, we've had this conversation. It's just everyone knows our plans.
I mean, I think
happened already.
I think teams do homework on other teams, right? They try to have an idea of what this team maybe looking for in the draft. That doesn't necessarily mean, hey, we're going to take this player because they're there. They're going to take him, or they may take him, or whatnot. But I think in the second round, we had this. Remember, we had the whole wiped out scenario of guys that we liked a lot, right? In the Dane Brugler thing. In the second round, in Dane Brugler's situation, I would have tried to trade up. That's where I was at with it. But in your situation, you're saying just reach for the guy in round one. Well, in that case, you probably could have got like a Zavala, and if you wanted to take that type of guy in round two.
I'm a Zavala fan more at center than left guard, just to be honest with you.
That's a big ass center.
That's me. But listen, all we can do is pray for the best. As long as we don't take a tight end in the first round, I'll be kind of okay. We take a tight end in the first round. I got a great Iron Sheik meme I'm going to drop with the Iron Sheik talking to Jerry.
Well, hold tight to it.
God bless. You going to be on later, or you just preparing for you tomorrow?
No, we are coming on later. I think we're revealing his top. I don't know if it's his top 50 board or if it's just top 10 of each position, but we're going to be revealing a rankings list. Yep.
And what about tomorrow? Just tomorrow night you're going to be doing, or you're going to be doing in the morning?
No, I'll be in the morning. I'll be here in the morning.
All right, you got it, bro. Talk to you later, Scott. Great content as always.
Appreciate it, man. At least I think I'm going to be here. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. Tomorrow, Friday, going to be really, really long days, man. But that's what we do it for. All right, let's get back into the mock draft. Let's see where we're at. Oh, somebody done called. Somebody done picked up the phone and called. Told y'all there was a little bit of movement here in this draft. And try to be realistic as possible. In fact, I accidentally gave them more than I wanted to. So let's pretend I didn't give them this last pick, but there was a trade. We got a call from Las Vegas, the Raiders. They wanted to come up. We're at pick 63, mind you. We got 2 second-round picks. We're at pick 63. The Raiders wanted to come up 7 spots, and they wanted to get their guy at pick 63. So we wanted to go down 7 spots. So I'm looking, how can I pick up something extra? So we looked at those 4th-round picks. Now, let me go ahead and reveal the actual trade, which is we picked up pick 109, 4th round, and traded down to 70. So 7 spots, not bad. The last pick, 244, let's pretend that ain't there. That was an accident. It wasn't supposed to be there. It was already good to go with 212. I thought I declicked 244 and it just happened to stay there. So technically, we gave up 6th-round pick 212 and 63. So again, we slid down 7 spots. We picked up an extra 4th-round pick, which I believe we were at like pick 129 or something like that. So we ended up, being able to select right outside that top 100. And with that pick, we took wide receiver Cedric Tillman, the number 61 player on the board for PFF. Number 1 in our hearts. No, number 61 on the board in PFF. But for the Cowboys, they get that X wide receiver that could potentially be the guy they move on for, Michael Gallup. Cedric Tillman. A lot of people like this guy better than they like Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. But 2 things that they have similar that really has nothing to do with their skill set is about the route tree. This is the second time I said this about a Tennessee receiver. It seems like they didn't ask him to do a whole lot from a route tree standpoint. But if you want that prototypical X wide receiver with some top route explosiveness, meaning once he gets to the top of his route, man, he plays some power bully football. He is a my ball guy. All those issues we had last year with Noah Brown and all that stuff. Nah, this dude knows how to track the ball at a very, very high level and come down with it. And it's not just a, oh, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you type thing. There's a little nuance to how he attacks the ball, right? It's not some lucky, it's juggling, and there's some nuance to it. I think he got patience, when it comes to tracking the rock. I think there's quick hands. A lot of people, I thought I heard earlier, was talking about body catching with this guy. I mean, I've seen him just snag the rock, whether it be, through the air. I've even seen him do it on certain slants. And sometimes in the slant, you gotta kind of shield off the cornerback anyway, and try to, bring it down with your body. But I've seen them snag the rock out of the air plenty of times. So, I think this is a guy who has the potential to take over for a Michael Gallup if they decide to move on from a Michael Gallup. I think he's a guy who can fit into this offense. If it's going to be more West Coast, if it's going to be, more slants, more, posts and just basic deep routes, I trust this guy down the field. One of the best 50-50 contested catch guys in the NFL draft. Point blank period. And he showed up against top competition. Now, 2021 was his best year. Injuries messed him up last season, but this kid's got a very, very high ceiling and I think a solid floor as well. So went with Cedric Tillman, the best wide receiver left on the board at that point. There was other guys. John Domingo, I think, was still there. I can't remember if Tank Dell was there. Probably should have screenshotted that. A lot of people like Tank Dell. But we came away with the wide receiver in this draft. Pretty highly thought of wide receiver, too, in round 3. He may not even be there at that point, but we're just going on what was on the board. There's a play right there where he snagged the ball behind the guy with his hands. He gets I don't know why he gets dinged for his hands. He only had a few drops last year. So here we are. Will McDonald in round 1. You got your guard in round 2. And you come away with the receiver in round 3. And again, once you get to your second and third rounds, you do have to start thinking about, well, where do they fit now? Said you could argue, let's not go receiver here. Because again, much like edge, much like corner, you can line up and play. But man, give me this guy. I'll take him on my team. Cedric Tillman, wide receiver out of Tennessee. First 3 picks right now on the board. We got one more pick left in the top 4 rounds, and then we'll discuss post-draft potential moves. What we got here? Willie believes he's going in the second. I think that's fair. There ain't too many big guys like Cedric Tillman in this draft. It's full of kind of the smaller-ish guys. Aaron's down with this draft so far. Yo, Iceberg Slim wildin'. So Iceberg Slim, you feeling it? All right. Let's see what else we got here. Danny, hold tight, Danny. Hold tight. I got you. The other Danny Doski. Willie T said a lot of people are sleeping on Tillman, Jalen Barty, Gallup redemption season. Look, brother, if I can get Gallup to have a redemption season and I still come away with Tillman, yeah, this is probably not great news for Jalen Tolbert. But I like Tillman better. Maybe I have to go revisit my draft day and maybe it's recency bias with Jalen Tolbert. I don't know, man. Big schools, big competition. Tillman show up. Now Jalen Tolbert showed up against better competition last year too in college, or in his years in college. So I can't do that completely to him. I don't know, man. I just like this kid. I like this kid better. Toxic said, Sky, we got Tolbert, we got Simmons, we got Houston. That's fair. Big body receiver, running back next round, breakout return season from MG13. Hey, look, if this puts pressure on a Michael Gallup to turn up, so be it. I think Rashee Rice was on the board too, and he said he is Tolbert. And Tillman is Sutton. Shoot, if I can get me a Sutton on this team, yeah. If it ain't gonna be Gallup. My bro Lee said he loving it like McDonald's, pun intended. All right, landlord, so far, bro, what's good? First off, what's good with your landlord from Alabama?
What's happening with you, sir?
What's happening with you, man? You feeling this draft so far? We came away with McDonald, Bergeron, and Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I don't know about I like Will McDonald, but he definitely would be a future pick, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are queasy on the McDonald pick. They like the player, it sounds like, but I think a lot of people are saying, well, what about this year? What about this year? I'm kind of in the mode of I think he could be a part of the rotation and still be a future core player.
He'll probably be your DeMarcus Lawrence replacement.
I don't know about D-Law.
But
D-Law, he only 240 roughly, and he's not really a run guy. Will McDonald. I think Sam Williams could slide over there and be a D-Law replacement though.
Well, yeah. We got a deep room. That's the only reason I'm opposed to it. Defensive end, man, it's deep in there. We re-signed Fowler, Dorn.
1 year.
We got a lot of people in there.
Yeah, it's
yeah, they are 1 year, but that's why I say it's future. That's the only reason I say it's future.
Yeah, look, man, it's fair because we all think about the now when it comes to this draft, but sometimes I gotta remember they're also thinking about the future in that room.
They definitely are. That's my fear. I'm afraid of Dollar Bill Jones going too future on this. That's the only thing I'm afraid of because he's led by his pocket. So we trying to produce. My goal is to produce the best team on the field. That's my goal. You can worry about your numbers later on. That's on you. I'm trying to win, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's fair. Because you thinking about numbers and stuff, that's all down the line.
Yeah, if you're going into the draft, if you only thinking about you got to think about the future for every pick. But if it's like, hey, man, we're picking these guys to be starters in 2 or 3 years, then that's probably not a good way to go about it. You want to hit that sweet spot where they can contribute early, but you don't want to get a bunch of dudes that you're counting on in the draft because to me that means your roster's not that great. Like if you got 5 players that are starting or 4 players starting or playing so much, as rookies, one or two things is happening, bro. Your current roster is riddled with injuries, or their players are not good enough that these rookies are beating out established players. So I think this is a great problem, quote unquote, to have where you're trying to battle. Well, how can I get a certain guy on the field and also think about the future? Great problem for the Cowboys. Kudos to them.
True. You know something, I ain't gonna lie. The more and more I look at this draft, it look like the sweet spot in the draft is probably like the top of the second.
Yep.
That's what's crazy because we at the bottom of the first. But if we could get another second round pick somehow, some way, we'll be sitting pretty. Like, so I ain't gonna lie, trading down might be the best. It might not be fun, but trading down might be the best way you can get the most effective draft.
That's what we did in this scenario.
Trying to figure your hope.
I'm not sure if you came in at the top of the the top of the show. We traded down and picked up an extra second round pick. So we traded down, stayed in the first round. Say again?
No, I was just singing praises. Like, that's the best thing to do.
Yep.
You can get a multiple second round picks, man. You in the money.
Yeah, here's the details.
Because all the receivers and stuff don't be gone. Go ahead.
Yeah, the details were we traded down to 31 and we picked up pick 63 and gave up 90. So we had 31, 58, and 63. And that's what we came away with in those first 3 picks.
Oh yeah. That's the sweet spot. Because what's so crazy, if you want a receiver, I think if you want a receiver, if you want a real defensive tackle or something, I believe you might be chancing it too much going in the second and the third round. Like, receiver, you might be okay in the third, maybe. You might be able to get somebody like Mims or Mingo or maybe Tillman, maybe.
That's exactly what we got, too.
I think it's going to be a run. Yeah, I think it's going to be a run on receivers early in the second, and it could get ugly. Like, for real.
I mean,
I think they're going to.
I'm fine with that. If it's a run on receivers in the second, that means if I don't take my guard in round 1, you're pushing down offensive linemen to me. I welcome a run on wide receivers in the second round if I don't come away with my guard in day 1. So be it.
See, I'm thinking the line gonna be wide in the first round.
See, I don't think that.
I don't see a whole bunch.
I think the blue chippers are going to go. The Paris Johnsons, the Skoronskis, Darnell Wright, maybe even Osiris. But those guys are going to go. But I don't think the Avias and the Bergerons and of the worlds and they're going to go in the first round. I think there's a potential that run could happen in the second round, right? So if I'm getting a crazy run on receivers early in the draft, thank the heavens, because that means you're pushing down these guys to me. John Michael Schmidt's another guy. So that's kind of where I'm hoping. If we get a run on receivers in round 2 without taking a guard in round 1, you're going to have your pick of the litter at offensive line.
Trading back and getting a Vila is a dream scenario because you'll get an earlier second-round pick more than likely, too. So, yeah.
I'll
if
be
you get
happy.
somebody like that early and trade back, yeah.
I'll be happy as
But
hell.
I just want to tap into it. You know, I'm finna get ready to head out there in a couple hours.
Down to Kansas City.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, keep us in touch via the social media airwaves, man. Enjoy yourself down there. Be safe.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate this, Scott.
Salute. Appreciate your landlord from Alabama. Make sure I check him out on all platforms. He does his show probably after our show at the Trap House. Let's jump back into this draft. We're almost done here. We got 2 more picks. No more trades. Again, I didn't want to be that guy that traded up and down all over the place. I try to be a bit realistic as possible via trades. The Cowboys have traded on day 2 of the draft before. They also traded on day 3. They've also traded down on day 1 too. So here we are. We are in the 4th round now, and this is the sweet spot. This is the sweet spot for maybe the deepest position in the draft. Tight end, Scott? Tight end? Nah, not tight end. I went with, find the button, right? With the 4th round pick in the 2023 NFL draft, Dallas Cowboys Skywalker still selects running back out of UAB, Dwayne McBride. Why Dwayne McBride? There were a lot of running backs on this board. They ranked him here, I believe, 98 on their board. 109 overall is where we got him. So according to them, we have a very, very valuable pick here. This is a position where I think we should come out of this draft with a running back. And speaking of this running back in general, here's what I have on Dwayne McBride, guys. A very good anticipatory runner at the second level, meaning he's got the vision to make you miss. I believe he had a ridiculous number of something like, and I could be wrong here, somebody let me know, 38%. I think he had a missed tackle percentage, which was by far and away the best in the draft. And you can see it. Like this isn't a dude who the numbers, and we'll get to the next pick, is very similar, where the athletic numbers or the actual numbers don't match up on tape. This guy is great at the second level. I mean, I'm big, if you guys have noticed how I've been breaking down these running backs. Can you make guys miss in the hole? Especially a guy like Dwayne McBride who played at UAB, right? Not always playing the top competition, but can you make guys miss in the hole? He can do that, and he can make you miss at the second level. Not going to wow you with long breakaway speed, but he plays as that power back. So we're talking about complement, right? We're talking about a complementary guy to the room. Well, there you go. You got a power back who's got loose hips. He's shifty, and I think he could crush it in a zone blocking scheme. You don't see a whole lot of one cut schemes anymore, but if you were incorporate that within your scheme, Dwayne McBride, I think would be fantastic. So I went and watched the game where he played against Georgia, right? Big competition. Boy, they whooped on UAB, dog. I mean, they absolutely put the hammer on the UAB. So I said, well, how did he perform with the team that was getting overpowered and overmatched physically and emotionally and everything by Georgia and Jalen Carter and I think even Davis? I don't know if he played in this game or not. This is 2021. He was the only one that brought physicality to that game on UAB. The only one. I think he averaged something like 4.5 yards per carry in that game. You saw that ability in that game to make people miss, whether it be behind the line of scrimmage, whether it be at the second level. You see the loose hips we talk about. He's a bit of a high runner, he can be, but I think in between the tackles, he knows how to get skinny when he needs to get skinny. But I like Dwayne McBride right here. This is fantastic value to me. He's one of the cluster of running backs that if the Cowboys took, I'd be happy with on day 3 of the draft. And this is why I'm okay with them passing on running back on day 1. Hell, even day 2. There's going to be somebody there in day 3 that you'll like. And Dwayne McBride is one of those guys, man. So I came away with a lot of offensive help so far in this draft. which a lot of people wanted. They wanted to get offensive help for the Cowboys, specifically O-line. We got that. We also got receiver help. We also got running back help. McBride, I think, comes in right now, and Tony Pollard and McBride make a great 1-2 punch for you. Yeah, well, Sky, he's a rookie. What do you mean great? Rookie running backs don't. You can see how they'll translate. You can see it. You can see what traits they have that could translate to the next level. And this guy has really, really, really good anticipatory vision at the second level. And that's big in a league where the hole is going to close quickly. At the second level, they're going to come on you quickly. You got to know how to make that cut, when to make that cut, how to make people miss to get the extra yards. He may not take 175 yards, but you got a guy for that. So Dwayne McBride is my pick. Let's see what y'all saying in here. Frankie don't like him because he's not explosive. He's quick. He's not. He's explosive right now, as opposed to long speed, as opposed to I'm gonna take it 75 yards, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not tripping about McBride having to do that because I think TP can do that for you. And if you wanted to later in the draft, undrafted free agent, you can get another guy if you really, really want to. That's how deep this draft is. Aaron says legit his favorite mock. Yes, that's the thing. So, well, Sky, what is the issue with McBride? Besides the competition, is the fumbling. He's a guy that fumbled the rock probably too much in college, and I don't get him benched. So, look, you can't come in the league fumbling. One thing running back coaches will not tolerate, especially if you're part of a committee, is fumbling. So he's going to have to protect the rock at the second level. Professor O has McBride as RB4. Shoot, if he's your RB4, this is great value then in round 4, 100%. Izzy Abankanda, always get that wrong. We call him Wakanda. The Pitt running back. I believe I can't remember if he was off the board or not. I can't remember, but I'll take a look at it. Tough runner, says Danny. Yes, he is definitely a tough runner, 100%. That is true about Wakanda. He's not going to make you miss too much, but he's explosive as hell, though. This guy makes you miss more than anybody in college. That's not named Bijan Robinson. Bijan is the guy. He's the standard. And then McBride is right underneath him when it comes to making guys miss. So that's where we're at so far, man. Will McDonald, Matthew Bergeron, traded down in the third, got said, and got Dwayne McBride. We got one more pick left in the top 4 rounds. Remember, we picked up an extra 4th. That was the extra 4th round pick. Now we got one more in the 4th round, and then we'll speculate on what could potentially happen after that, and then we'll also speculate what the Cowboys should do if this was their particular draft. Lamont, what's good, man? How you feeling so far about this here we got going on?
So far, I like the picks after the first round pick. I don't know, like McDonald, he's nice, but like when it comes to as far as his competition and stuff like that he's played against, because I don't really see a lot of great offensive linemen that played in the Big 12 this year. That kind of makes me feel like maybe it might be a difference when he goes against some of the more elite tackles. His skill set is good, but
yeah, he does have a good skill set.
Elite tackles. What'd you say?
He does have a good skill set. I think when you're talking about pass rushers, you gotta look at the traits too. The competition is definitely a great factor if you want to see how they play against the best guys. But you can also kind of see can that move win? Can that speed win? Can that quickness win at the next level? You can usually predict if that can or cannot.
Okay. So I also wanted to say, ask, when it comes to the running back position, was the Illinois running back available when you picked?
Chase Brown? Or the other one, Tucker. I think it's Tucker.
No, I think his name is Chase Brown.
Chase Brown.
From Illinois.
I think Chase was there, and Chase is my pet cat. I like Chase Brown a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Chase will probably be better just because I feel like as far as being able to take a pounding, I feel like he'd be better with taking a pounding, and I feel like he takes care of the rock better.
the defenses that he played against and still put up huge stats against.
He definitely
like
take care of the rock better, but I don't think he's a more powerful runner. I think that would be McBride.
That could be.
He's a more explosive
Yeah,
runner.
that could. Yeah, but for this scheme, I think that he might be better for this scheme. But as far as
what
the
is the
first round
scheme?
pick,
We don't know what the scheme is. That's the problem, right?
I hear you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We don't know what the scheme is necessarily. But I do feel like the scheme is going to fit, it'll fit whatever running backs we get. Because I think that's what they're going to work on doing is just saying, all right, so we have this type of running back. We could go and put him in these kind of run plays and stuff like that. And these kind of holes can open for him versus Tony Pollard, which, he's going to be getting more of those zone carries and stuff. He's going to be hitting that hole and choosing which way he wants to go and stuff like that. But I think this guy.
I love Chase. I like Chase Brown a lot. I think McBride is better. But if they took a Chase Brown on day 3, I'd be jumping for joy.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, me, Sky. I've been on that Foskey train for a while, bro, and I ain't giving up, bro. I'm praying that we take Foskey because I don't know, bro. It's like something telling me he's gonna be one of those ones, and I think that the way they ranked him is not good. It's kind of like Stephon Tuitt when he came out. He was a second-round pick, and he probably was the best 3-4 defensive end in that draft.
You said he was a first-round pick?
No, he was a second-round pick.
Second round, not bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was probably the best. He was probably one of the best defensive linemen in that draft. So I think that sometimes these guys, when they rank these prospects, I think sometimes they rank them lower than they should. But as far as the overall draft, I do love the Tillman pickup because Tillman is probably my most underrated wide receiver who's not getting talked about enough.
Okay. Yeah, we got
I ain't really want much, bro. Like, I ain't really want much and everything. I just wanted to go and tell you that you did a good job on the draft and everything. If it fell that way, I wouldn't be mad. I would celebrate just because we got some good pieces that want to fill in some holes, some good depth parts, and some players who can develop and hopefully one day become second or first string starters.
Indeed, man. Hey, Frankie, the super chat's fine, brother. I'm not really sure why it's not working for you, man. But appreciate the call, Lamont.
All right, bro.
Let's go ahead and round this thing out and finish this draft. We got one more pick left. Again, no more trades. We decided to stay put here in the last pick in the 4th round. And finally, the Cowboys select their tight end. And we take Josh Wiley, which according to PFF is a bit of a reach here. Bit of a reach. They have him as a pick 200, and we took him at 129. Again, I don't recall who was on the board, but I wanted to come away with a tight end on day 3, early in the round, and I did. And I picked up Josh Wiley. I just one word I use when it comes to Josh Wiley is smooth. He's just so damn smooth. And I'm not trying to scout the helmet. No, Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce. I'm not trying to do all that. Just scouting him in general. This dude is naturally athletic and it translates on the field. I think it's the exact opposite of Knuts. You got to be there, by the way. But Kuntz. It's the exact opposite of Kuntz. You look at the numbers for Kuntz and you're like, man, this is a ridiculously athletic guy. Let me go see what he looks like. And then you go and you watch and you're like, he doesn't play like that. So I'm confused here. So when you look at Josh Wiley's numbers, we say, okay, let's go see how this athleticism translates. Boy, does it translate. I mean, this dude has really good body control, really good hands, long, 6'6", obviously, and he plays like it, right? He's 6'6" with a ridiculous catch radius. Like a lot of these other tight ends are pretty tall and long too. Now his frame's he's 250, but his frame is not a 250 where I'm stout and I'm just gonna maul you. But I think he's a try hard guy. I'll attempt to block it. He's not a great blocker because he ain't trying to not be a great blocker. He's trying. He's just not his game. He's more of a detached tight end. We talk about that with Kincaid and Laporta. These guys are guys you're going to want to move around, detach them for the most part. But if need be, you got to move them inside. I'm going to give Lunda Wells some credit here. Lunda Wells took a guy in Peyton Hendershot. I was like, there's no way, this isn't a blocking type guy. He made him into a respectable blocker. Not saying Peyton Hendershot was some mauler, but Peyton Hendershot was able to get some quality reps in as a blocker that helped spring guys like Tony Pollard. So I think if Lunda Wells gets his hands on a Josh Wiley, a lot of you guys in the chat, y'all talk about 3 tight end sets. Man, that would be fun. Ferguson, Hendershot, and Wiley. That's in the red zone specifically. That's a lot of mismatches you got there. If you come out in a 3 tight end set with those dudes, you don't know what's happening, especially if you're moving a Peyton Hendershot around. Wiley's a ridiculous red zone threat with his length as a jump ball guy and just his length in general. You can never forget about Ferguson. He's been a red zone guy for majority of his career in college, and then he did some good things in the red zone as a miss guy, right? And then obviously Peyton Hendershot, if you get into that green zone, money zone, he can run right by your linebacker or defensive end if you want to put a guy on him like the Jaguars did. So PFF doesn't like the value here, but I like the value here with Josh Wiley. So there you have it. The top 5 picks, but there are 4 rounds. But the top 5 picks for the Cowboys in this particular mock draft. Decided to cut it off here because 5th round, 5th, 6th, 7th round. Yeah, you can find your Deron Blands. That's true. Your Anthony Browns. Yeah. But I wanted to kind of cut it here because I want to talk about what to do after this. But Will McDonald, Matthew Bergeron, Cedric Tillman, Dwayne McBride, Josh Wiley. I think you touched on most of really what you came into this draft trying to come away with. But what you didn't, and this is me criticizing my mock, I did not come away with the big 1 tech in the top 4 rounds, which is something I will discuss in a second. And I did not come away with linebacker. Y'all know me. I really considered Drew Sanders too, y'all. But I didn't come away with linebacker. I really considered Henley in the 2nd round, but I couldn't pass on Bergeron to move him in at guard. If I had this draft, I think you came away with 1, 2, 3 certified, 100% stamp it contributors in 2023. Will McDonald, Matthew Bergeron, Dwayne McBride. I think all 3 of these guys contribute. McBride plays that 2 role with Tony Pollard, that 1-2 punch. Bergeron is your starting guard. Will McDonald is your rotational defensive end 2023, which you hope in 2024 he may be elevated to a starter, or we'll see what happens with D-Law. Cedric Thornton is going to be tough to be a guy that gets a whole lot of tick in his first year. So you really didn't come away with a 100% certified guy that's going to play a lot, I think, in Cedric Tillman, unless you get some injuries or things like that. But again, you're kind of looking at the future and the now. And then Josh Wiley, I think he's going to be competing for tight end 3 with Sean McEwen, but I think they'll keep 4. So it's weird with Wiley because I think he's going to be a special teams guy, maybe red zone guy, certain packages, but I don't think Wiley's going to be a part of your 12 personnel. Hell, he might be. He might come in here and push Peyton Hendershot, so maybe I'm speaking too soon on that one because I like Wiley a lot. But that's where we're at right now. Those are the top 5 picks. And now I want to discuss real quick my post-mock moves. So I didn't come away with my 1 tech. Maybe you do in round 5, 6. Maybe you do. So I want to go out and I want to go get A'Shawn Robinson. All right? Hicks, whomever. But A'Shawn is a guy I want. You're not seeing any of these guys get signed anymore. Teams are waiting for the draft. That just is what it is. Probably for every position. But 1 tech ain't going to cost you a lot. And I think there's a handful of quality guys still out there. So I'm going to go get me A'Shawn. I'm going to get me a guy who can come in here right now and be an extremely great 1-2 tandem at the 1 tech, not necessarily 0 for him. That would be more Hank, but run stoppy guys, right? I got a Hank, I got Big Hank, and I got A'Shawn Robinson. Big Bo, you going to fight for your spot, which we like. And then I'm going to give me a linebacker. That honestly, forget the 1 tech. The linebacker is the one problem I have with my mock draft. I would have loved to kind of come away with a linebacker at some point. Maybe you do it around 5 or 6. But even around 5 or 6 or 7 guys, not really going to move the needle for me. So I'm going out and A'Shawn Robinson got signed. My bad. Giants got A'Shawn. So Hicks. Who else was out there that we talked about? Who was the other guy we talked about? Not Matt Ioannidis or whatever, but Akeem Hicks. So my apologies on A'Shawn Robinson. But a one tech. Go out and get a one tech. And then that linebacker, I'm going to go out and get I don't know. Y'all like Miles Jack. Miles Jack, I believe, is still available. I will go get a Deion Jones. Deion Jones has played with Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn can get the best out of Deion Jones. I think he got the best out of Deion Jones. He's still relatively young in regards to age. He's not some 33-year-old dude. He's not Barr. Where Barr's athleticism was gone. He was getting up there. He was a hurt guy. Deion has been hurt in his career, but I think he's better than Anthony Barr last year. So I will go out, get me my one tech, not A'Shawn, and go get me a Deion Jones at linebacker. So that fulfills all of your needs from the draft to post-draft in a matter of, you probably sign those dudes mini camp or something like that in a matter of a month. And I think the Cowboys would have hit this offseason out of the park. One of their better ones in a long time if they were to do something like that. So McDonald, Bergeron, Tillman, McBride, Wiley, post mock, go get me a one tech and go get me Deion Jones. There we go. All right, Marv, you've been on hold for a very, very long time. What you think? What you thinking, man? I'm good, brother. How are you?
Hey, that draft was okay, man.
Yeah, I think I could come away from this draft and be pretty satisfied here.
Yeah, that was okay. First, I was like, and then I said, okay, because I never thought of that a receiver, because the guy that's going to be in trouble is number 13. People don't know that, because that's why they did that contract. Because if you drop that Tennessee receiver, ooh-wee, because you never thought. Because you got to remember, the other guy that plays like him is that we picked up from Cleveland. Remember? What's the receiver? They got
Callaway?
Callaway. Played just like Galloway too. So if they drop that Tennessee receiver, which guy gonna be in trouble? Galloway. But I hope he come back. I think he'll come back strong. But can I give you a quick mock real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Give me your top 5 picks. We ain't gonna go all 7.
Okay, it's gonna be fast. What happened? We had traded back with New Orleans to 29, picked up an extra pick. We got Michael Myers. That's our starter.
You got the tight end Mayer?
Yeah, Mayer.
Okay.
And then I picked Drew Sanders at 58, linebacker. They're gonna save Michael. That means he get to be the.
We got Sanders at 58. I would love that. That's good value. Go ahead.
They cut Reeves Benton, the big D tackle from Wisconsin.
You got Benton. What pick we get Benton at? He went before me. He went before me. I think in I want to say it was round 3. He went before us in round 3. Yeah.
And then the biggest pick of the year that we got another steal. McClendon Curtis out of Chattanooga. 6'6",
the guard.
330. That big guard. That's our starting guard. A beast. And he is going to be a beast. I'm telling you, that's the steal of the draft right there. And then I got Roshan Johnson.
Oh, man, look, man.
Yaya Diaby, Louisville. Then I got
we're going to stop right there.
Benson.
Those are your top 5. You got Mayer, Sanders, Benton, Curtis, and Johnson. So you when you took Mayer, I was like, I'm a little worried now because are we going to be able to get our guys here? You got Sanders. I like to get Sanders, but then you didn't take the guard. So I'm like, I'm a little worried. Then you took Benton. I'm like, all right, we out on guard, ain't we? But you did come back and you got Curtis, and you believe Curtis is plug and play.
Yep.
If Curtis is plug and play, Sanders, Benton, Curtis, Johnson, Mayer, shit, that's a fantastic draft for real. And that's with me not really liking I don't like tight end in round 1, but I got my linebacker. I got me a quality dual defensive tackle. I got my guard, and Roschon Johnson is a good running back too. Yeah, I would like this draft.
Ooh.
I don't know how the hell you're getting all of them, but if you get them all, man, yeah, let's do it.
I drafted back 2 rounds. I got an extra pick for New Orleans. They was at 27.
Yeah.
So they traded up, and we took we
ran off on.
They was at 29. I mean, they was at 29. They took our pick.
That's a Marv Kiper special right there. I like
That's a Marv Kiper special. I kept going there because I see the player, because these players are dropping.
Yeah.
Because you notice something, like you said, the team that be watching us, it's that sorry Philadelphia. So they either gonna pick who y'all like, Smith, or they D tackle, or the halfback. What I'm trying to tell you, them guys they do everything to try to counter us. You know that, right?
I don't. I think the whole Dallas Goedert thing happened. Now that's stuck in everybody's heads. Like, oh well, the Eagles took Dallas Goedert from Dallas, so they're taking all the Cowboys players. I don't know about all that.
But bro, you make good sense. There are so many halfbacks.
There's a whole
when
bunch,
I took
man.
Roschon, the Eastern Kentucky halfback was there. He's good. Keaton, man, it was Illinois running backs. Even the Georgia running back is moving up the ladder.
McIntosh, yeah.
Man, it's like 20 running backs.
There's a lot. Man, honestly, even if they didn't take one, which I hope they do, there's probably going to be people, players in the undrafted ranks that they'll be happy with. But there's so many running backs and tight ends. I don't think unless one of them top dudes are there in early in the draft in round 1, you can bypass it.
Because like you say, but that receiver's cold. Another receiver is Matt Landers. You can get him in the 5th or 6th, 4'3", 6'5", receiver out of Arkansas.
Let me find out.
He got wiggle.
Let me find out.
Check him out.
Let me find out Marv know the names.
Matt Landers. I want you to watch that. That dude is cold-blooded, man.
Gotcha, brother.
Matt Landers out of Arkansas. He's 6'5", 4'3". And he ran in a combine, and he could catch, man. And he go across the middle, and he got wiggle. He know how to get away from me. I'm like, man, he play like a little receiver.
He got some wiggle.
Man, this guy's cold-blooded. So, you know they're like the big receivers. You know your boy.
Hey, Danny said you got the beast. You got your own beast, or you got the actual beast from Dane Brugler?
No. When I saw Matt Landers, I was looking, and then with that DC for Life, he did a mock draft. I was like, oh, man, I forgot about that guy. He showed it. Yeah, DC for Life. He always does a lot of mock drafts. And then I'll be listening to the show, the show on Cowboys show, the draft, and they be coming up with players. I was like,
they do. Tell me more. They do a lot of tell me more. Yeah.
There's so many guards. The LSU guard 330, the Alabama guard is 330, the North Carolina State guard. There's another guard from Notre Dame, number 66. That's good.
Yeah,
There's a lot of guards.
Let me just say this
about
that whole 330 thing. It's something I learned through Vach and getting into O-lineman. Just because you 330, 325, 340 don't mean jack shit. Because you got to play like it. Some of these guys don't play with that type of power. They just happen to be that big and sometimes sloppy. So can you play? Because there's dudes who go 310 that play with better power, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's a lot of guards. So I'm not even tripping. But the guard, the steal is the McClendon guy for real.
Yes,
you got to watch him.
3rd or 4th time I heard him, and I keep forgetting to go check him out. But I have seen him creeping into a lot of people's mocks like this, man. So I'll do that, Marv. Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you, big dog. Got to keep it moving.
All right, fam.
All right, brother.
Salute.
Hey, Marv will go through. Marv Kiper Jr. will go through 179 players if I let him, y'all. But I do the Curtis one. I got to check that one out because that's like the 4th or 5th time I keep seeing his name pop up, but he's one of those dudes I haven't went to. And I know B frankly football, he put him in his sleeper file. So I'm gonna do that. We got one more day. We still working. All right, let me lock these up. We got a couple more callers here, and then we're gonna rock out. All right, Los, and then 346. Not sure who that is, but what's good, Los?
Good morning, Sky, man. Hey, one more day until the draft. Who would have thought, man? It's already here.
We made it.
Believe it.
We made it.
Hey, so two quick things, man. I just hope whoever we pick in the first round, I hope we don't get a Jalen Tolbert type of scenario. I hope this coaching staff, whoever we bring in, defense or offense, like they have a plan. Like, all right, this player's going to have snaps on this position, this rotation. We got to get him involved in the NFL level and not waste this year of what we have, right? And my second point is I really do think, we got to get these positions in the later round, which is guard, running back, and linebacker, because I really do think those positions do need to look at a bit more depth. And my thing is, you mean there's a lot of
like double dip.
Go ahead.
You mean double dip, or you mean like taking a guard late in the round? That's like your first guard pick.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So it depends where all it falls. But like, let's say, okay, so there's two names out there that I know you really like. Like there's this name Zavala, and then there's Mafi. There's two guards out there that you can get in the later round that I think can be contributor, in the line, right? But it all depends where the draft falls. So I really do think no matter what, you got to come out with the draft with a guard, because you got to solidify that O line. Because if you're playing musical chairs all this year, you're just making complications. And like you said, I want Tyler Smith to be in one spot for 1 year, not all right. Let's put you to guard. Now let's put you to left tackle. Now let's put you back to guard.
Yeah.
I really feel like in this draft you really got to come out with a guard, just to let's not play musical chairs, and that's that. And I don't care which round they do it. I don't care which round they do it, but they do have to do it just so they can at least move forward. And you give me your thoughts on that, Sky.
Yeah, that's where I would push back a little bit. I do care which round, because I don't know how many plug and play guys you're getting after the fourth. All right, now maybe you get somebody comes in, and maybe Mafi is there at 6 and some in the 6th round, 5th round, and some people believe he can be plug and play right now, and boom, you're good to go. Maybe Zavala is there in the 5th round, and you're good to go. Maybe this Curtis kid is there, Alabama kid. Maybe you take Bradford and you include those guys as plug and play. But I get a bit skeptical after the 3rd and 4th round for plug and play guys. So I'm with you. We need a guard. I would prefer it to be somebody in the top 100. I feel comfortable there. But hey, man, maybe Duke gets his hands on him. Mike Solari gets their hands on one of these day 3 kids, and they turn it into something. So.
Yeah, and that's this guy. But I'll be completely honest. I just got my 3 names in the first round. If they pick one of these 3, fine. I can only see them picking up Will McDonald just because Dan Quinn worked out with him. They like Michael Mayer for some reason, and then if they really want a guard early on, they might reach for Steve Avila. I can see those 3 picks in the first round. But let's see what happens. Let's go Cowboys, and let's go for that Super Bowl.
Salute. Appreciate you, Los. I think those are 3 names, 100% that Dallas is probably in on. The thing about it, though, at tight end is that Steven talked about how deep it was. So I think Mayer might be the only one. Maybe Washington, but I feel like they would rather Washington in round 2. But Mayer's going to be a first round pick, first round graded guy on probably everybody's board. And they're going to stay true to their board, man. But I hope if it's close, right? Like if you have Mayer at 17 or 16 or 15 or whatever it was, and you have McDonald at 19, I hope they take the guy what I think is going to be the better. Like listen, Mayer right now will come in, he'll contribute. I think he'll be a solid pro. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to be a bad tight end at all. And that ceiling know what will. It's through the roof. That's all I'm saying. Through the roof. I'd be curious where they have Dalton Kincaid. I know the back thing everybody talks about, but if you listen to Steven, if you listen to McCarthy, they have a vision of a specific type of tight end. He doesn't really fit that, which is why I took that version of it later, because you're not really investing a lot of stock into a guy that you don't think fits your mold of a starting type of tight end. But the talent is there. You know, the ceiling is there as well. A little older player, but so is Will. It depends how you want to run your offense. If you want to run your offense with a detached guy mainly, that's your guy right there. If not, you probably go a different way. 346. What it do?
Hey, what's up, Sky? This is Troy out of Houston.
What's good, Troy? H-Town?
It's good, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was just curious. Are the first three tight ends? Is their grade worth having, as opposed to getting like a 7 to 10 year player behind them, like taking them as our first pick?
Can you say again? Explain a little differently there.
So taking one of those first three tight ends, is it worth taking as our first pick as opposed to getting like a 10-year player?
Are you assuming that they won't be a 7 to 10 year type player? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not necessarily that. I mean, have we, other than our last tight end, keeping him for 10 years?
Jason Witten.
Yeah. Yeah. What tight end have we kept that long?
Oh, you got Schultz for 5. I mean, what player are you keeping that long? You got to be a really damn good player, right? If you're going to play, 7 to 10 years, on one team, you better be damn good. If not, you'll be Taco Charltons of the world, Mo Claiborne's, talking about first round picks. You'd be out of here. But if even Byron Jones, who was good, he didn't stay for 10 years. So are you saying, is it worth not taking a lineman? So. That's what it sounds. Yeah. So you're saying, is it worth not taking a lineman? Who's on the board? Like who? Let's just do our mock draft situation. Let me show you who was on the board here. The player on the board now, granted, Kincaid and Mayer are off the board, but let's just pretend they're on the board. Osiris Torrance and Anton Harrison are the top 2 offensive linemen that went after him. So are you saying, are they worth passing on those guys?
For the protection that they'll bring to our line.
Yeah, I probably would take the offensive
coaching
line.
Up what?
Me personally.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Or even a guy like Cody, or they could coach up Harrison, but I'd take Cody. And then
the problem though, bro,
is it? Oh, go ahead.
Problem is, I think they're going to be rated high. Like I think Kincaid and Mayer, and I don't know where they would have Kincaid, but most of the league has Kincaid as a first round graded player. So if they stay true to their board, I'm telling you, I'm just saying, if one of them dudes are there and they're taking, don't be surprised, because they really try to stay true to their board. That's all. But go ahead.
Okay, let me ask you this then. As far as staying true to your board, with us giving away two fifth round for trade, would it be advantageous to pick up more picks by moving down as opposed to taking one of those guys if they're available?
That's what I did in the mock. I got a call from Kansas City. I was able to stay in the first round, move down 5 picks, picked up an extra 4th. I'm sorry, picked up an extra 2nd. I picked up an extra 2nd round pick. So, I think this
and
draft.
Mayer was available at that?
No, Mayer went 1 pick before us. Even if Mayer was available, even if he's available, I personally would look. I don't want to take the tight end. I'm not taking the tight end. I don't care if he's on the board. I'm not taking him, but they probably will. I have a hard time believing they'll pass on him because he fits that prototypical style that they like. And they got that in the room, but it is what it is. I would trade down if I can. I think this is a really good draft to do that. Trade now, still stay in the first, and pick up an extra 2nd. Yeah, all day tomorrow.
Yeah, the mocks I've been playing with, I've been having a lot of offers to move down, and I think it looks good. And lastly, with that, how obnoxious is it to pick up 2 offensive linemen in our top 3 picks, just to shake up the board a lot?
It's funny you say that.
Moving down, of course.
Because Voorhees was available to me in round 4 at pick 109, and I almost pulled the trigger. I almost died. I would have double dipped.
It would be so awesome, Scott. I mean, just say if we give Voorhees a minute to kind of toughen up, what our line would look like. We solidify our whole line moving forward in one draft.
Yeah, I really like Voorhees. I wish he didn't get hurt. But when I was listening to the draft show, they were talking about how there are the injury concerns with him in general, not just from the ACL tear that happened, but just I guess he was a kind of a banged up guy in college. Played a lot though, so I mean, he was out there playing. But yeah, I was close to double dipping, man. Early, it would have been 2 top 109 picks on the offensive line, and my thinking was, okay, I got Bergeron left guard, or if you wanted to slide Tyler in, I think I would put Bergeron in. And then Voorhees would take over for Zach Martin in a year or two.
Yeah, I think that sounds awesome. I mean, we put Voorhees with Britt and our training staff, you know what I'm saying, with our training facility and all of those things. Get them a good nutritionist and those things, you know, could help out a lot. But, I would just love 2 offensive linemen. I think it just sets us up perfectly. And then, you know, just go into free agency with a running back.
That's a lot of resources. But, boy, if they came away with a double dip in a top 4 picks at offensive line, that's telling you, you know, they're trying to protect their guy and they want to protect their future too. Because right now, you know, contrary to popular belief, wink, wink, DP, there ain't no depth on this offensive line. Nowhere. And whether it be the now or the future. And that would be a good start to try to provide that type of depth by adding 2 talented young guys like Voorhees and Bergeron.
Yes, sir. Well, that's all I have for you, Scott. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Good call. Good call. Good questions. I'm on board. I passed on the tight end to take off. Like if that was the only option, like you either take an offensive lineman or you draft the tight end, I'm probably taking the offensive lineman. It's one position the Cowboys take early that they hardly ever miss on. It's offensive line. You think I'm finna pass on that? Like they got 100% hit rate. 100% in round 1 under Will McClay. And it's not like it only happened once. It's not happened 3 times, man. 3. And if we want to go a little bit deeper, if we're keeping it a bean here, Tyler Biadasz Pro Bowler. We ain't going to do that. But Tyler Biadasz developed into a very serviceable, if not reliable starter at center, and we've seen what it looked like without him. So when it comes to O-line, if the Cowboys want to take O-line in round 1 and it might seem a reach, I'm shutting up. I ain't got nothing to say. Honestly, whoever they pick in round 1, I'm probably going to get over it quickly, and we'll see how things play out because they've been killing it in round 1. But offensive line, come on. What are we talking about here? And go look at Mike Solari's track record too. Dude's been a fantastic offensive line coach throughout his career. So, yeah, I'm passing on the tight end. I don't care about basketball, jump ball, Kincaid, and I know Mayer can be an all-around guy, and I know Washington's a freak athlete. Give me the O-lineman. Those dudes know how to draft O-linemen, period. It's not a hard concept. But if you're struggling with being hard, we got a solution for you, man. ED can affect your self-esteem and impact your most important relationships. If you've tried pills, if you've tried, any other thing, and it hasn't worked out, we got hope for you. Take a free online assessment that you can share with your doctor. Click the ad in today's description. There's a permanent, satisfying solution to treat ED. Visit edcure.org, get the facts, find a urologist in your area who can help you find treatment options when others do not work. Again, that's edcure.org, brought to you by Boston Scientific. It ain't hard, but you can be.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now,
that's good, Toxic.
Here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
The Voorhees breakdown is fantastic, Toxic. He says Voorhees has proven tape since 1980. He plays well on the road, even in space. They really sent Jason Voorhees to space. Like, what are we doing, man? I found out the other day that the Fast and Furious franchise went to space. I'm like, what? I mean, there's so many. I definitely didn't watch them all. What are we doing? That's good though, man. You got that loss? You feel me? All right, let's get to these super chats. And we're gonna roll out. Oh, y'all was really dropping them today, huh? I did get a few. I think I stopped at Coles though. Let's get to Chris. Super chat. We don't wipe them 304s. He says, Orlovsky was asked about Josh Allen's INTs, and his response was, "That's just football." Are you surprised? Oh, my bad. I didn't know that was still playing. Are you surprised that he said that? I mean, we are talking about Dan Orlovsky. King Element dropped one and said, "Would you rather have McDonald?" Whew, why are you gonna do this to me, King? You're super chat. You're using my biases on Mozzie against me. Would you rather have McDonald or Mozzie? Mozzie was available, by the way. Still gonna go with McDonald. You know, that's a money 5 position. That's a money 5 position. And again, I just think his upside is crazy. I do. But I like Mozzie, man. My guy Keystone dropped one. Appreciate you, Keystone. Super chat. He said Dwayne McBride's frame is underrated. He is in my sleeper files as well. Dwayne McBride at times when it came to that cut ability when I was watching him reminded me of Murray. Not saying he's the same runner as Murray, but I thought Murray for that 2 or 3 year period was one of the best zone runners in the league. He just knew how to feel a sense of when to make that one cut. And I think McBride got that one cut ability in him, but he got some stupid wiggle in the second level, which is not Murray-like. So, let's see here. DC for Life dropped 2 just to support. Appreciate you. Super chat. Black Lion dropped 2 and said, "Facts. All big guys don't have functional strength." Yep, that's a better way of saying what I said. You said it way better than me. Functional strength. That whole 330, 325, you can be big, man. But if you don't have that functional strength, what does it matter? Super chat. We talked about Nate Livingston, right? Or is it Livings? I think it was Livings. And Mackenzie Bernadou. These guys were bigger dudes, but they didn't play big. DC for Life dropped one and said, "Ready for the season to start. This is over with." Appreciate you, man. I'm ready. And tomorrow it begins. It begins tomorrow. The Cowboys turn the page. The NFL turns the page to the NFL draft. All the speculation, all the we should do this. It'll suck if we don't do that. I'm telling you, this guy is that. It's over with. And I just can't wait. I can't wait to just discuss who the Cowboys select, figure out how they fit, get behind that player, this team. Because right now, fans, we're all stretched in different places, and we tend to forget what the center core is of our fandom, and it's the Cowboys. You know, it's not I'm trying to be the draft guru or trying to be Mel Kiper Jr., Marv Kiper Jr., or trying to be I told you so guy, or this is my sleeper guy, watch me, and I'm telling you he's going to suck. Man, all that shit don't matter once you're picked. Once the Cowboys get that actual player, that's when the real excitement begins, and we can get behind that player or evaluate said player or players and figure out how to make this thing work. We can revisit 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line on how all these other players worked out. But the main focus is the Cowboys, man. And they're going to pick some good players in this draft. We may not see it coming. It may be a guy that a lot of y'all think isn't good, or a lot of us think isn't good, and they end up being good. So I'm just excited to actually get that part of it done, man. I'm tired of all the speculation. I'm tired of all the 200-something names that keep getting thrown around here. When you're only going to take 6, you know, it gets overwhelming. And I'm ready for this thing to pop off tomorrow. And we'll be live. We'll come in about pick 15, me and Foots, and we're going to break down the first half of the draft. And we're going to have some fun with it, man. We'll get some raw emotions, some raw reactions. Then we're going to break it down. But if you enjoyed today's mock draft or just the show in general, hit the like button. If you're new, you see all the people in the chat participating and you can't figure out how to get involved, it's because you got to be a subscriber, man. You got to be a subscriber. So join the Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad! If you feeling it. I ain't telling you got to. If you're feeling it. And then come on back later. Mo will be on for, I don't know if his final show of the week, I want to say. He's got his draft thing going on separately tomorrow. Today, later on the volume, we will be revealing Vach's top list, I believe, for each position. They've been sprinkling it out throughout social media, so go ahead and check that out. You can find me on Twitter as well, @SkywalkerStill. Make sure y'all go in and hit me up there. And let's go ahead and get up out of here. I think we got all the super chats. Let me just make sure I scroll up. Ain't missed none. Nope. We good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that button because we got to roll. You might be right. Hard hitter, you might be right. Sully, I'm tired of being tired. Been fighting for all my life. Nah, man, I'm just ready, man. I'm just ready to talk about who we got. It is exhausting, fam. You gotta watch all these players. We out here. Love you.